What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another update. I'm doing a few more updates today simply because there's a lot of news coming out, simply because today is deadline day. Today is the last day the government has, and Congress really has, to pass a deal before the government shuts down. Well, what we know is that right now the House is expected to hold a vote sometime tonight regarding the government shutdown and providing a continuing resolution for the next 2 days. So they are going to do a bill for just 2 days to keep the government open and funded. However, this continuing resolution is not expected to pass, at least through the Senate. But that's not the big news. There is big news. You saw the title. It's back. $1,200 stimulus checks are back. They are now being considered as a more vital piece to passing this entire stimulus negotiation. We keep getting more and more reports. They keep coming out, so I want to bring those reports to you, right now, so that you can stay updated on everything that's currently going on. Now, what you need to understand is that the House will most likely pass this continuing resolution. It will go through, be no problem. However, as Senate rules allow, any one senator can stand up and object to a bill, and if that happens, then the bill won't easily pass through. It would actually go to a debate. As of right now, there's no time to debate any bill. So right now, what it's looking like is the government will shut down, and that's what many people were predicting anyway. That's what I was predicting earlier today and also yesterday as well. Now, what we need to understand is that even though the government is expected to shut down, it is expected to shut them down, but it would most likely speed up negotiations. And this is something that a lot of people have been saying for the past week. Let the government shut down, because that's the only thing that would speed up the negotiation between Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. However, that is not the only thing that's going to speed up negotiations. We got reports just a little bit ago that there are more people coming out saying we have to do $1,200 stimulus checks. If you remember from my video that I did earlier today, I mentioned how Josh Hawley put a bill on the floor for a vote, an up-down vote for $1,200 stimulus checks. Well, that was pretty much blocked by Senator Ron Johnson. Well, right now we're getting reports that Democrats are open to getting past their one main key issue in this stimulus negotiation, and that is closing down the Federal Reserve lending programs. That's their big issue right now, is Democrats are saying this will hamstring the Biden administration. We cannot close these down. But there are reports coming out, and there are multiple people stepping forward saying that they support $1,200 stimulus checks. So, right now, what it's being said is that Nancy Pelosi is considering dropping the Federal Reserve lending program and closing it down and not reopening it, and pretty much passing this bill that Senator Pat Toomey has on the table, but pretty much closing down this program in exchange for $1,200 stimulus checks. Now, what you need to understand by this is by including a $1,200 stimulus check, this is essentially going to take the package to a little bit over $1 trillion. It's going to go to about $1.05 trillion. So not a whole lot more, but it is more than many Republicans will support. However, there are a handful of Republicans that do support a $1,200 stimulus check and would stand behind any bill that has them. So this is the good news. We heard this morning that Josh Hawley's $1,200 stimulus bill, or that demand, was blocked. And now we have Bernie Sanders coming out stating that he demands $1,200 stimulus checks. He says, at this point, these are more of an emergency to the American people. Bernie Sanders posted a tweet that read, "I am on the floor urging the Senate to provide $1,200 direct payments to all working class Americans and $500 to their kids. Millions are out of work, hungry, and can't pay rent. The American people need their government to step up and pass this relief." That was good. He's demanding $1,200 stimulus checks. He will not vote. He will not support a continuing resolution. So remember how I said it just takes one senator? Bernie Sanders will be that one senator that says, nope, not going to vote for it. Don't support it. I object. and then the whole thing is pretty much crushed. Well, to top this, we even have Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who is a Democrat. He responded to Bernie Sanders' tweet and said this. He says, "I'm standing with Senator Sanders to fight for $1,200 stimulus checks. Millions are out of work through no fault of their own. This could mean the difference between Americans paying the rent or not, affording groceries or not. These are survival checks." That's what we've been saying for a while. Many of you on the channel, in the comments, you say this every single time, that we require these checks. We need these checks. If I do not see a $1,200 stimulus check, then I will be evicted. If I do not see a $1,200 stimulus check, not only will I be evicted, I cannot provide food for my family, for myself. We cannot pay for our essentials. We cannot afford to live. That's what's currently being said. Now, this morning I mentioned how President Trump was about to come out yesterday and demand $2,000 stimulus checks, but his aides told him not to do it or this could blow up the entire stimulus negotiations. Well, now it's looking more and more likely that we will have a $1,200 stimulus check included in the stimulus package, or we might not see a deal on this stimulus package at all. However, what's currently being reported is that many lawmakers, people in the House and the Senate, are saying, let's get the bill together. Nobody has seen it yet. Let's put the bill out there. Let the American people see it. Let all of the lawmakers see it. Let's review it, and let's put it to a vote. The only way we know if this passes or not is to vote on this. So they're saying, let's vote. That's what we need to do. But what we know this afternoon is that Nancy Pelosi wants to close this Federal Reserve lending program. But according to reports, Pat Toomey has a bill that is geared just to do that. So the best way forward at this point, again, you can probably hear I'm pretty hyped up about this because stimulus checks are an essential tool. They're a critical piece to this piece of legislation. We have to get those in there. $1,200 would be much better than $600. But according to multiple reports, right now, the goal is to close this program. Again, these are just reports. Until we hear from Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell themselves, we got to take this with a little bit of grain of salt. How is this going to work? Are we being serious here, or are they just throwing these around to try to make the other party look bad, or for the Georgia Senate runoff election? What's going on? But right now, at this time, they want to provide more stimulus as a way to hopefully offset this loss of losing these potential programs, which really did absolutely nothing. Most businesses did not take the money from these programs, so they did almost nothing. And now Nancy Pelosi is pretty much saying, well, we want $1,200 stimulus checks, and then we will pretty much just forgive and forget that lending program. That's fine. So this is where the $1,200 stimulus checks actually comes back into play. Now, we all know that something has to happen, and it needs to happen fast. I don't anticipate something gets done today. But Mitch McConnell, he had this to say earlier today. After all these months, struggling Americans don't just need action, they need action fast. That's true. But according to Senator John Thune, he says, I was thinking best case scenario of getting something voted on was going probably to be Sunday, but it may be later than that. Well, this is what most reports have indicated as well. Most likely this deal doesn't actually get any agreement on until most likely Sunday, if not sometime early next week. That's not the best news, but as long as we're getting agreement. But this also means that voting wouldn't happen until after that. So we might not see voting happen until maybe Monday, Tuesday, possibly Wednesday. That's not good. This means that Congress is going to be working this coming weekend, and most likely they will work this coming week, which means they will not be going home to their families, which chances are, once the husbands and wives call, hey, you coming home? No, not coming home yet. It's going to provide a little bit more urgency into this situation, which means they're going to have to ramp up negotiations, get there a little bit quicker, and hopefully get a deal done. So that is what we know right now regarding stimulus and regarding this $1,200 stimulus check. But I do anticipate a lot more information and updates very soon. So as we hear more, I promise I'll share more. Consider subscribing. Also, go ahead, hit that like button if you appreciate these constant stimulus updates, and I'll see you guys on the next one.